All right, good evening, everyone. It's July 13th, a little after 5, week 3 of this course. I cannot believe how fast this course is flying by. And really, the summer. I can't believe we celebrated our nation's 250th birthday there 2 weekends ago, and this summer is just flying right by. So week 3, just a friendly reminder that we are not meeting next week, July 20th, and we are not meeting on August 10th. We are going over week 3 stuff tonight, which will carry over into week 4. So there's really no sense to really have a shorter Zoom next week. So I've done this the last couple of times. I've taught this course, and the students really seem to like it. Just to have it maybe a week off from Zoom next week. So I think we went at it pretty hard the first couple weeks, and some good results there. So outstanding. So again, no Zoom next Monday, the 20th of July, and then no Zoom on August 10th. Again, August 10th is the last week of the course. And I usually like to leave that open for anyone that may have a question that night or that week. Um, so I like to leave that kind of for individual type of questions or concerns that last week of the semester, which I can't believe we're talking about already. All right. Well, I hope you're well. I hope you had a great weekend, and we're jumping into week 3, like I said. And just a friendly reminder that all of our assignments are due Monday nights. So week 2 is due tonight. So if you have any questions about week 2, please ask. And again, just a quick recap what week 2 is. That is um, you're looking at EBSCO you're looking at the different library databases, criminology collection, ProQuest that we looked at last week from the Rivers Library database. Page 1 is your title page, just like every assignment this semester. You need to have your APA title page, okay? And if you did well last week, then just keep doing it. If you made a mistake, that means I probably marked you down slightly, and I put comments on your last page of your assignment. Again, in order to look at the comments that I've given you, you open up your attached graded assignment, open it completely in Word document, and then at the very end is where I put my comments to help you, for your future assignments and everything. All right. So week 2 again is due tonight. Week 2 assignment. Page 2 and even page 3. I saw some really good assignments already. You are to explain a description about the library databases. Maybe you wrote on the death penalty, or maybe you wrote on gun control. What are some of the collections that you use to find your references? ProQuest. What is ProQuest? What is EBSCOhost? We went through that last week. And how did you go about finding your good references? Okay. And also explain what, a scholarly peer-reviewed source is. All right, what is that exactly? I've talked about that quite a bit this semester already, how I do not like open source newspaper articles. I want to know, and I want you to pretty much get in the habit, not just in this course, but other courses, scholarly peer-reviewed journals, professional journals through, the EBSCO host or the ProQuest search through Rivers Library. Explain that, okay, in your own words, okay. No abstract needed for this week's assignment or thesis statement. You can put that in there. That's fine if you're used to writing it. And if you had a perfect paper from week 1, leave it in there. That's fine. I'm not going to take off any points. Okay, so again, that is due tonight, week 2. All right. Any questions from anyone so far from week 2?
Oh, sir.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, so let's jump into week 3. So week 3 is um again, same thing with your title page. So your title page stays the same. All right. and one thing I forgot to add in the last section, if you just want to write parenthetical narrative citations and quota citations for your title page, that's fine. If you want to keep your original title from your research proposal, that's fine as well. I'm mostly looking at your formatting, your APA. The first letter of your important words in your title is capitalized, for example. The T and the should not be capitalized. On capital or O should not be capitalized. So things like that. So again, your page one should always be your title page. Okay. Page two. And then again, if you want to write an abstract thesis statement or leave it in from week one, that's fine. If not, then page two, you're explaining parenthetical and narrative citations. Okay. And we're going to go over this right now. And I've given you some really good links on the course page. And the first link I want to show you is a Scribber. Okay. How to cite in APA format, guide and generator. This is an awesome reference for this week's assignment. So if you're not sure, um, so you could pick, a writing style, but obviously for this course, it's APA 7th.
And you said that's under course resources?
Yep, it should be right on your course resource, right on the front page, and I can go back and show you.
Okay, I see it. I see
Do you see it now?
it. Mm-hmm.
Under course resources. All right. And then right here, you just click on that. All right. And then when we go over the next part of the assignment tonight, you're going to click on this Purdue right here. Okay. I try to make things easy for all of you. Okay. So parenthetical narrative citations. So I click on the scriber and APA style. Okay. This is what it should look like. All right, so the first part of the assignment is you're writing parenthetical, okay? Meaning, all right, you are using, you are borrowing, and I say borrowing, you're using somebody else's ideas, all right? In this case, Smith, could be Jones, whatever, okay? And what I want you to do with this assignment is I want you to write 5 sentences using parenthetical and narrative citations. So that's going to be page 3, okay? So on page 3, take one of your sources that you have found for this semester's research project, and then just put in parenthetical citation, okay, per this website. According to the research, 1 in 10 Americans will fall ill this fall. Whatever. I'm just making that up, and then you put Smith 2024 as the parenthetical citation. Okay. Again, you need to write 5 of those. All right. All right. And then 5 narrative citation. Okay. And a lot of you, one reason why I really like teaching is that students really have their own style of writing. Either they write more parenthetical, they write more narrative type of citations. And that's why I always tell my students wherever I teach, you should have 1 to 3 cites per page. Okay. You should not have 15. I've read papers over the years that a student will cite after every sentence. That is not necessary. That's overboard. And that's telling me that they are citing too much and they're not putting stuff in their own words. All right. And I don't want to see too little as well. So maybe you write a 10-page paper and the first 3 pages, there's no citations. All right. I can understand the first page not having any citations because that's your opening paragraph, things like that. Your opening. But you should have probably 1 to 3 on page 2 and so forth. Okay. But don't stress if maybe one page you have 1, another page you have 4. That's fine. I just don't want to see back to back to back pages continuously of probably 5 to 10 sites. Or I've had some papers that have been submitted had 0 sites, zero, absolutely null, zero. So what does that tell you? If somebody submits a paper with 0 sites, that
Probably
is an
no
that
research.
is an essay. That is an essay and not a research paper, and that will not be given. You're not be given credit for that. So that's what that means. Okay. So back to this again, 1 to 3 sites per page is what I tell students, especially when they write research papers. In my 402 class, where we'll get more into that. But for this course, it's really easy. You're going to write 5 sentences from a couple of your sources. Um, According to a new study, 1 in 15 Americans will, I don't know, eat more beef, whatever. That's a stat that should be cited, okay, per Smith 2024, whatever the case may be, okay. And then another reference you can write, Smith 2023 states that 1 in 4 Americans will travel to, geez, I don't know, to the Bahamas. I'm just making that up. All right, that is an example of a narrative citation. Okay, so this website is perfect in just trying to figure that out. In writing some good sentences using parenthetical, using a narrative, with 1 author, 2 authors, 3 more authors. Okay, so remember, 3 more authors, you're using at all. Okay, so if you pull up a reference guide, maybe you found a journal from last week and it's on gun control and it's written by Smith, Jones, and Judge. Okay, so now you have 3 authors. Your first should be your first citation. You should be using all 3 authors, but then any citation other subsequent to that, then it's you take your first author that's listed, so it's Smith and it's Smith et al. So that's how that is. Okay, or it may be an organization. It could be Department of Homeland Security that wrote that article. The Federal Bureau of Investigation states that back in 2021, violent crime across the United States has decreased by 10%. All right, that is a good narrative citation. All right, a parenthetical citation for that could be, according to research back in 2021, violent crime has increased 5% across the United States, according to the well, has increased in 5%, and then at the very end you put FBI 2023. All right. All right. And then this also has some good missing information as well. Information. So some of you have already wrote ND for no date, which is awesome. So you're really learning a lot about APA and everything. Okay. So that is this page. And also, if you want to download this APA citations for free, you can do that. So this is an excellent example in writing your for your citations and everything. And then this reference page, this is really good for week 6, I believe, or 5. Week 5, your reference page. So I would use this for week 5. Okay, and I also gave you that model paper that you can use for week 5 that shows what an APA reference page should look like and everything. All right, so this is perfect for week 5 as well. So I will probably refer to this in a couple weeks when we return. Okay. Okay, so that is pretty much, I'm not going to go too much down more in the weeds with that. You can read this. And then just, if you have any questions about the assessment, I would refer to that website for the first part, 5 pages of using parenthetical and narrative citations. Okay. So again, 5 sentences use a parenthetical, and then 5 narratives. So 10 total. All right. And then 5 sentences you could use using quoted citations. Okay. All right. Um, so any questions so far on that part? It's pretty simple. Okay. So I'm going to jump into the Purdue Online Writing Labs website, which I also gave on your course page as well. It should look like this: in-text citations, the basics. Okay. And if you have your manual, your APA manual, then use that. But I like looking at websites, especially Purdue, because they really break it down into basics. Okay. So I won't go through every sentence here. Oh, did I lose? No, I didn't lose. I thought I lost my internet. Um, so, but yeah, you could read this. This is very, very important stuff. All right. Especially when it comes to short quotations. All right. This is important. If you are directly quoting from a book, you'll need to include the author, year of publication, and page number for the reference. Okay. Very, very important. According to researcher Gilbert, 1 in 10 Americans will eat more beef by the year 2028. Okay. Those are my exact words in my book or in my journal. You put those in quotes. All right. And then at the very end, you include author, so Gilbert, um, in your parentheses, Gilbert, comma, 2026, year of publication, page number of the journal. Okay. Um, 5. Okay. And or if you have multiple pages, all right. So if you're quoting maybe 2 or 3 sentences and they go from pages 5 and 6, then you put for PP here, then you put 5 separated by dash. Okay, 5 to 6. Okay. So here's some good examples right here. All right. Um, and then, this is a lot like the parenthetical and narrative citations as well. So this is also a good quote as well, a good source and everything. But yeah, these are just all very, very easy types of exercises that that you should take not only for this course, but for for the university, especially if you want to go to grad school. Very important things. But of course, there you got to find that right mix. Okay, you got to find that right mix of your own analysis, your own put things in your own words. But then there's certain things that you just cannot put in your own words, especially data, um, evidence, qualitative evidence. 5 and 7 teens will play sports by the year 2034. Those are exact stats that maybe a researcher found, so you put those in quotes, and then you put the author's last name, or I'm sorry, yeah, author's last name, year of publication, and then the page number where you found that. Okay. All right. And then I will give you a bonus. One of the you got to write one sentence that has must be 40 or more words. Okay. So what do you think you do with a sentence with 40 or more words that you want to basically cite from a journal or from a peer-reviewed um, article? What do you think you want to do there? All right. So right
Sample
here,
quotes.
yep. So right here is a good long quotation. So you want to start the quotation on a new line indented 1/2 inch from the left margin. Okay, so right here. All right. So this student here, I'm not sure what language that is, Latin perhaps, I don't know, but they want to use Jones's work. All right. So they at the last sentence of this first paragraph, Jones's study found the following. So this was direct quotes from Jones's book from 1998. They indented, okay, and then at the very end, they put the page number, okay, and that's how that works, okay. Um, and then here's some different reference material, without pages. if you want to summarize or paraphrase, okay? So that's very, very important as well. And so when I see your one sentence, it should look like this right here. That starts with students, and then maybe when they say 40 words, okay, 40 or more words, that's what this looks like right here, okay? And those are usually
All
long.
right,
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to follow along with you, and so I didn't realize. Are you trying to share your screen? Because I can't see
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, yeah. I'm
it.
okay. Yep. Sorry about that. I thought it was already sharing.
I had it up on my monitor, so I was trying to look.
Okay.
Like,
Can
yeah,
you
I think I'm on the
is that
track.
better now?
Okay, yep, there it is.
Okay, sorry. It was sharing, and then I saw on the screen that the internet was unreliable. I'm like, oh, what? So I must have lost it. So I apologize
Hmm.
for that. And thanks for jumping in. So this is what the yeah, the 40 or more words, that's what that looks like. So you need one sentence that shows like this. Okay. And then this is awesome. This Purdue Online Writing Lab is awesome. This is what I refer all my students to for APA. All right. So again, this is good, really good for your short quotations as part of your second five sentences using quoted citations, including one sentence must be 40 or more words. Okay. So you're really going to have 15 sentences. Five using parenthetical, five using narrative, five using quoted citations. Okay. All right. And then again, for your five
And
sentences. Yep. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
these will just be basically a citing practice. We'll just pick what we want to use related to our paper and just use it basically to practice the format, pretty much.
Correct. Yes. And
Okay.
I would use the references that you found already with your research project this semester. So I don't expect you to go out and find 15 more sources. I'm okay if you want to use the same source twice for two sentences. I'm okay with that. But don't knock yourself out and go find 15 more references. That's not what I want. This is mostly an exercise in quoting, parenthetical citations, narrative citations, and just writing simple sentences using quotes, using cites. And then obviously with that one cite's got to be 40 or more words, okay, quoted citations, okay? So 15 sentences with one of them being at least 40 or more words, okay? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And then again, this is Scribber is the awesome website for the first part of your five sentences, 10 sentences really, because you're using parenthetical and then you're using narrative. All right, so again, um, five parenthetical, all right, and then you use five narrative. Okay, so the parenthetical, you put the author or authors or organization at the end. Your narrative, you're starting with your author, you're starting with your organization first, and then you're saying, then you're using your basically your own words, but you're using their main idea, and that's kind of why you got to write a citation. Okay, all right, that's how that works. And then feel free to use any of these citations, these reference examples as well. Okay. And then this is perfect for your week five, your APA reference page. So I would pull this up as well. And this gives you really good ideas, some good guidelines for your reference page. So another assignment where you should get 100 easily. And then of course use the paper model that I put on the course as well. All right. All right. So again, that's due next Monday. Okay. Due next Monday. And then week two is due tonight. All right. And again, your week two should have your page one, your APA title page, just like every assignment this semester. Um, I'm okay if you want to use this as a title, database criminology collection, whatever. If you want to use your own title from week one, that's fine. And then page two, again, recapping. If you want to use your thesis statement or an abstract for page two, that's fine. If you just want to skip that, that's fine. Page two should be a description about how you went about finding your references for gun control, for the death penalty, whatever. All right. Explain your process, explain what ProQuest is, explain what EBSCOhost is, and how you went about finding your materials, especially using the Rivers Library. And then finally discuss what's a peer reviewed source. What is that? And I've talked about it quite a bit. How rather you use that than an open source newspaper article. But yeah, easy, easy, easy. Okay. And then a reminder, no Zoom next week because we covered a lot tonight. So we'll skip next week and then July 27th, we'll jump right back into it with a reference page. And again, that is easy. And then the following week, I can't believe it's our last Zoom already. Then we'll talk about your outlines. If you have not started your outlines, I would start them right now because that will make things a lot easier. And then you kind of do two assignments at one, especially getting your outlines done. Okay. Okay. I That's all I have on my notes. I'm just gonna stand by. If you have any questions, any comments, please chime in. But that's it. Very, very easy these first 3 weeks. Um, but again, I highly recommend you proofread and then open up your graded assignments so you see the comments that I made to you at the very last page so you don't make the same mistake every week and you're going to get the same grade or maybe even worse. So make sure you make those changes each week.
Sounds good.
Okay. Um, if that's it, then have a great rest of your week. Be safe, stay cool. It's awfully hot, of course. Um, but again, if you have any questions this week, please ask. And please get with your advisors as well if you need to register for fall courses. They are definitely filling up on the criminal justice side. But yeah, get with your advisors, and if you have any questions, please reach out. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
All right. I guess I'm going to. I'll call it there, but I will stay back if anybody has any questions. If not, have a great week and be safe, everyone. We'll see you later. Take care.
Great. Thank you.
Are you welcome?